Then in 10th, we've got the Canberra Raiders. I actually predicted them to slide this year, which I'm sorry, but I'm pumped with that prediction, baby. I didn't go all the way of saying they would miss the 8, but I said they would come 8th. Obviously, they let set George Williams. Well, they didn't let, but George Williams left, which I don't think that can be ignored. That's obviously going to have a big impact on your season. Your halfback leaving middle of the year, but I don't think their whole season can be put down to that whatsoever. I think their forwards were really lacking. On paper, they've got the best forward pack in the competition period, and they were playing far from it. Josh Papali'i was nothing like his old self. Tarpany had a few good games here or there, but he wasn't like his normal self either. Hudson Young showed glimpses here or there. Harawira Naira showed sorry if I'm not pronouncing that right, but he showed glimpses here or there. But ultimately, it never really gelled together. I think Jack Whiten had a really underrated, like it's being under talked about how poor his season was. He was good last year. Obviously, I don't think he was the best player in the game, but he won the Dally M, and he just did not back it up at all. I looked to him a lot more this year after he won the Dally M because I was like, oh, maybe this guy's a freak and I'm just missing it. But yeah, I just don't really think he's that good. I think, like, this sounds outrageous. Luke Brooks is not a great player, but I honestly don't think Jack Whiten's that far off his level. Like, I honestly don't think Jack Whiten's very good. Sorry. Shan's injured as well. Another big factor for me. They look a lot better when Shan's plays. I think Ricky Stewart, I'm not saying he should be sacked or anything, but I think that spot should be talked about because I think what they got out of their team this year, it was really disappointing. It's going to be hard for them to replace George Williams. There's not many halfbacks on the market. You're looking at Luke Brooks. You're looking at Ash Taylor. And that's probably about it because the likes of Mitchell Pearce and Benji Marshall are not going to want to move to Canberra, that's for certain. So, it's going to be a big year. And I think if they don't make the top 8 again next year, I think we could see the end of the Ricky Stewart Canberra era. But most valuable player, I've gone with Jordan Rapana. Top 5 most tackle breaks for the season, whether it was fullback or wing, he always gives 110% and always is a brilliant ball carrier out of the backfield. And he was a bit of a reason why they were as close to making the 8 as they were. Most improved, I've given it to Hudson Young. I think the way he came out of the blocks in this season, I thought he was going to be a breakout star, but he sort of was hit and miss. But I was looking at his stats and I was looking at the games he started versus the games he didn't. And they actually, when he starts in the back row, they actually won 8 games, lost 5. And that means when he doesn't start, they only won they only won 1 game, I think. So obviously he's a pretty big player in that Canberra team. He always gives it his all. Sebastian Kris won my best young player. This was probably the most random breakout of the season. Didn't even think he would get a gig with Jared Croker and how am I drawing blanks on the other side? Well, I guess it was Curtis Scott, and then it ended up being Matt Tomoko. But yeah, Sebastian Kris was awesome. I remember round 1, he tore us up against the Tigers, and then he did it again round 2, did it again round 3, and then all of a sudden you're like, this guy's actually had a pretty good season. So he's one of my best young player. Rating out of 10. Look, it's got to probably be a 3 out of 10. I think it was a really poor season for them to think they were only in the grand final 2 years ago. They've only really lost 2 players, and they've actually replaced, not George Williams, but they've replaced Bateman with pretty good players as well. To fall to 10th and not look an inch of their old selves, I think it was really disappointing.
It's a miracle! Oh, yeah! What about that one? No! Unbelievable! Balotelli! Aguero! Crowd cheers. Here's Siddle.